So which one should I drive? The truck or the Camaro? New, but you know what? I'm feeling the truck because it's so new. I can't get enough of this thing. I don't know why. It's just, the more and more I drive this thing, you know, I love it. Like I was never a truck guy, and now I'm just like, God, this thing is so awesome. But it's kind of bright. Put my sunglasses on here. And this thing, let me tell you something. I'm so excited with this feature in this truck. It's ridiculous. I know this is just like not a modern feature. I mean, cars have had sunglass holders for years now, but I've never had a car with it in there. So yeah, I love it. It holds my sweet red Ray-Bans. And clearly I can't get enough of red. I didn't plan this, by the way. I just threw this t-shirt on because Fred's Tavern is a sweet place in Stone Harbor. But either way, I get a lot of questions asked, mainly ones that pertain to how I have these vehicles, or how I started a YouTube channel, or how do I make enough money to afford the vehicles that I own. And I'm gonna tell you guys a little secret. Well, it's not gonna be a secret after this video, but the cat is gonna come out of the bag today. But first, I'm kind of thirsty, so I'm gonna go get some water. Much better. So, like I said, I get these questions asked a lot on my channel, on my Instagram, even sometimes my Facebook Messenger, and people want to know, they see me, I have, you know, a new ZL1 now, I have a new Silverado, I have a 2013 ZL1, and they wonder how's that possible? Like, what am I doing for a living? You know, am I rich? Were my parents rich? Like, did I win the lottery? Do I sell drugs? Well, none of that is true, and I'll be dead honest with you. It's not a lemonade stand, I can tell you that. So here's something you guys have to understand about spending money or buying things. People say they can't afford things, or you know, they don't have enough money to buy it, but in reality, they're just choosing not to buy it. You know, you might look at a car and it's $50,000, right? You could lease it for $600-700 a month. Most people can afford $600 to $700 a month on a decent salary, but they choose not to because instead they're spending money on outrageously priced food, drinks, things for your house. Maybe they're spending money on going out every single weekend. Maybe they have a hobby that they do that costs them money. All of those different things add up to, let's say, $700 a month. You could have this nice car, you could drive a Mercedes, or you could drive, you know, a $60,000 sports car, Corvette, whatever it is, but you choose not to because you're too busy spending your money on other things, which is fine. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You choose to spend your money on what you want to spend it on. I choose to spend it on vehicles because it's a hobby of mine, and it's now grown into sort of a business aspect of mine. And I'm gonna get to that in a second here. 6 years ago, it was 2011, I was playing in a heavy metal band, living in my parents' house without a job. Now, we did make money in this band. It wasn't a lot. It was just enough to pay my bills here and there, and my bills at that point were minimal, obviously because I was living at home. All I really had was a car payment and obviously car insurance. I had my credit card to spend money on things, out, eating, whatever, to buy myself, and I would pay it off at the end of the month. Now, I had been playing in bands previous to this, which I started doing in 2008, and I did the same thing. I played and I made money and I lived at home, and I had a great time doing it, traveled, experienced a lot. And it was amazing. I don't regret it one bit. I would do it again if somebody asked me. But 5 years ago, I ended that band, that East Coast touring band. It was just a cover band. And I didn't have a job. I just lived at home. My parents were taking care of me. My parents were supporting me the entire time. And I racked up a bill of about $9,000 that I owed them. It was ridiculous. To this day, I still remember it. I realized then and there, I was like, I gotta get a job. Like, I gotta get off my ass. I gotta get a job. This is ridiculous. I'm, you know, 24, I think I was 24 years old at the time, and I'm still living at my parents' house and I owe them money. Like, this is absurd. At the time, all I had was a high school diploma. I dropped out of college to play in the band that I now quit, okay? And jobs were minimal for me. I'm not gonna lie. It's hard to get a job when you don't have a degree of some sort, you know, at least a high paying job, or at least a job with a lot of, you know, advancement or potential. You know, there were $10 an hour jobs here, $15 an hour jobs there, but I didn't want to settle for that. You know, I wanted more. I wanted to find a really high paying hourly job with good benefits. You know, I'm a workaholic. Like, I don't mind working. I don't mind getting dirty. I don't mind, you know, working for my money. So that wasn't a problem. I was considering any type of job at this point. My dad, who had been working at the local steel mill, ArcelorMittal is what it is now. It was Bethlehem Steel originally. He had been working there for 40 plus years. And he had mentioned, well, you know, you could always come work at the mill with me. And I never really thought about that because it was never something that I pictured myself doing. I never pictured myself working, you know, in the same place my dad did. I just pictured that as his job, and that was that, and I would go on to do something else. Well, I considered it, and I was like, you know, the money's really good. You know, starting salary is well over $60,000 a year, and this is an hourly job. So, you know, if you work overtime, you're going to make even more, but you're going to make minimal 60 grand a year. And at that time, I got $60,000 a year was ridiculous, considering I didn't have a job, and the most I ever really made was about maybe $30,000 a year at any job that I worked at. So double what I made, wow, hell yeah, and living at home, it's a no-brainer. So I applied there. Now, just because my dad works there does not mean he could get me a job. In fact, it used to be like that. It's a union job, so the mill used to take preference over family members, and they would hire them. Well, they stopped doing that. And it was just as hard as for me to get in as it was Joe Schmo, who never knows nobody there, never worked there, no experience, nothing. So it was hard, I'm gonna tell you. It took me 6 months to a year to get into that place. Call after call, application, tests. I took like 3 different online tests, went in person and took a written exam. I took physicals. I mean, it was ridiculous. I never did that much in my life for a job. It was literally, I mean, it would have been easier to get a degree and get a job than to do what I had to do to get this job. But I did. I was persistent and I got the job. And I ended up making $65,000 my first year living at home. Full benefits. Didn't have to pay a dime out of my pocket for benefits. Didn't have to pay anything like that. It was amazing. And I made a lot of money, and I ended up paying my parents back $9,000 and saving up over $10,000 to then buy my house the next year. And that's what it takes to really start from nothing. Actually, I started from negative, really, because I didn't have any, I had negative money, to having positive money and then buying a house. Like, that's no joke, you know. It takes a lot to go out and buy a house. You guys that are doing it now, or maybe you've already done it or have owned a house for 10 years, you know what I'm talking about. It's a lot easier than going and leasing an apartment or paying rent to somebody. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to waste my money that way, you know, because renting or leasing, anything like that, it's just throwing money away. You're not putting anything back. You're not getting anything out of it. You're just paying somebody else, and they're basically benefiting from it, not you. So I wanted to own my own house. I didn't want to move out immediately to an apartment. I could have probably paid less a month, but I would have lost all that money, you know, like I was just saying. So I invested in a house. I bought the house and kept working at the mill, where I still am currently, and I worked as much overtime as I could. I didn't care. That's all I did is I worked and I came home. And one year I made $80,000 doing it. And that's the year I saved up money and bought my 2013 ZL1 used, not new, used. I bought that for $47,000. I had 7,000 miles on it. I had it delivered right to my house, and I made payments on it. Payments were almost $600 a month. I could afford it. And at that time, I was like, okay. I looked at my mortgage. I looked at all of the expenses every month, all the utilities. I looked at money in my pocket, and I looked at the fact that at that time I didn't have any car payments. I'd already paid off the Saturn, the black Saturn that some of you guys know about. That was my car for years. And I had paid that off, so I didn't have any car payments. And I was like, well, I can do this. I can afford this. So I did it. Now, at that time, I was in a different band. I had started a band about 5 years ago, and it was a heavy metal band, like I said previously in the video. I was making extra money here and there. Not much. Most of the money was going back in the band, and I wasn't making anything off of it. But it was a hobby of mine that I loved and I was pursuing. All was well and good. Everything was great. I had my car that I wanted for years. I had my band, I had my house, I had the dog, everything was good. Now, with my income at the mill, there is no way that I could afford the 2 new vehicles that I have now, the ZL1 and this truck. But before I tell you how I got these, I'm gonna go into the bank, I'm gonna deposit some money, and I'm gonna come back out and tell you guys how I can afford these as well. Oh, my camera fell over. That's okay. Anyways, let's get back to what we were talking about. So, like I said, couldn't afford these vehicles on the salary for the mill. There's no way, even making $80,000 a year, I probably still wouldn't be able to afford them. And at the time, I wasn't trying to buy anything else. I was happy with what I had, you know, it was fine. So it wasn't too short after that, I started making videos on YouTube. And I had a channel since 2006. Just to comment on videos and watch them and this and that. I never really did anything with it. Well, it wasn't until, like I said, about a year and a half ago, I made my channel and I started posting videos, and I called it Guitarmageddon ZL1. And that came from a profile, I don't even know where, but, or I came up with the name because I thought Guitarmageddon was cool, and I was hugely into guitar, still am, and I thought that would be a cool name for myself, and why not tack ZL1 on the end of it, because it was the car I had. You know, it's the cheesy thing that every car guy does, right? So I started making videos about the car, a couple like installation like review videos. If you go back way back in my channel, I did a little installation thing about the catch can that I installed, and nothing special. I think I recorded it on my phone. Then the first vlog that I ever did was with Mike, StreetSpeed717, you know him. And from there, it just kind of blossomed. I got real into it. I saw what he was doing. I saw what like other YouTubers were doing and how they were making videos on their vehicles, and there was a potential of making money, a lot of money in some cases. And I was like, man, why don't you just do this? Like, what's stopping me from doing this? There's nothing to lose. You know, you don't lose money doing it. There's only money to earn. And if you don't make any money, whatever, you still make a video and you have fun doing it. So what, you know? So I did it. And I started growing quite quickly, and I enjoyed what I was doing and kept making video after video. I eventually had enough money then saved up to start modding the car. And I told myself so many times that I would not do that, but I did. So I found Andy online, Diablo Formula Racing, and I went there, and I had 8,000 subscribers at the time. I just blossomed and got more views for videos. You know, a couple videos were high view videos that I gained a lot of subscribers from, which was good. And it helped, you know, being in other YouTubers' videos like Mike and Muscle vs. Tuner and Parker from Vehicle Virgins. I was in a couple of his videos. That's kind of what it takes to kind of blossom on YouTube. You know, people ask me, how did you gain so many followers on YouTube, and how do you start out, and what would you recommend? And I tell everyone the same thing. I said, be consistent and work hard. And that goes in anything you do, not just YouTube. But if you're really trying to gain traction fast, you're gonna have to be put in front of an audience so people can see you. That's the problem with small YouTube channels, is they're not put in front of everybody because they don't get any views. There are a ton of channels out there that are probably better than mine that have 100 subscribers. And the only reason for that is because they can't get viewed by anybody. They have no audience. And you need to go out to a bigger channel so they can put you in front of an audience to give you a little boost. It's up to you, obviously, then to keep the subscribers or get subscribers. For instance, if I would shout a channel out or say something about it, you guys, the viewers, aren't going to be like, oh, well, if he says it, I'm definitely going to subscribe. No, you're not going to do that. You're going to go there and look at the channel and be like, oh, this is a cool channel, I'm going to subscribe. You're not going to do it because someone tells you to. But anyways, without getting too far off topic, I want to get back on the subject with how I can afford these vehicles. And that is, now, the simple answer is YouTube. And it's the money I've made off YouTube. And I'm not going to lie, there have been months where I made $300, and there have been months where I've made well over $4,000. Now, what you guys have to understand, that's free money for me. I'm not using that to live. I'm not using that to pay for my house. I'm not using that to pay for my bills. Nothing. That is money that is just like, here's $4,000 for making videos. It's ridiculous. And think about it that way. That would be like me now making $140,000 or $150,000 at my job. If I didn't do YouTube and I got paid an extra $4 grand a month, that'd be like me making 150 grand a year. And that's how I can afford this stuff, because I have that extra cushion every single month that I now use to pay for my cars. And there is no way in hell I would be able to do it without YouTube. And I tell that to everybody all the time. And it's not, I'm not making $1 million a year. I'm not making $500,000. I'm not even making $250,000 a year. I'm not doing any of that. You know, I live on a budget. I still eat ramen noodles once in a while because I'm just like, oh, here's something quick and easy instead of going and spending, you know, $30 on the meal out somewhere. I still live by a budget. I'm still small, you know, I'm still small on YouTube. I'm not a big channel. And the thing is, I'm trying to grow it. And obviously the goal is to not work a job. It'd be lovely to do videos for you guys and not work a job and be able to afford all of this. But right now I can't, and I still work a day job to do it. And I didn't buy any of this outright. I'm not gonna lie. I'm paying on these cars, the new car and the truck. I'm making monthly payments on it, and that's the only way I can afford it. There's no way I'm not making that much money that I can save up $50,000 to afford a truck. It's not happening. Obviously, that would be an easier way of doing things, but I'm not making that money right now, so this is how I do it. And I look at it as kind of a business investment. I have a side business, which was once a hobby, and is now a business, which is YouTube. This year, I'm actually making an LLC for myself. The whole tax thing, that's just a nightmare at the end of the year, and that's a whole different subject. But this has now become a business where this truck, my ZL1, those are all business investments and they're tools to gain followers, to gain views, everything like that. None of that would have been purchased if I just had a job. So was it easy to do all this? Hell no, it wasn't easy. It was hard, and it's still hard. I still work my ass off every week. I probably work out of a given week, I mean, honestly, I would say close to 80 hours a week. I got a 40-hour work week at work, and those 40 hours are just like strictly work. I can't do anything but go to work and work those 8 hours and come home. I've got a physical job. I'm going to show you a few clips of it right now. A lot of you guys have been wondering what I do, and I actually took a camera to work one day. It was my dad's last day at the mill. He retired, and I decided to have some of it on film. So I'm going to show you a few clips there and show you guys what I actually do, so you guys kind of get a feel of where I'm coming from, really.
Right there. All right, then. You gotta make this. I know, man. The pressure's on.
So there's those clips. You guys understand, physical job, very dangerous job. I go to work every day and risk my life doing it. Although we try to work as safe as possible, it's still, it's scary, you know, anything can happen. And I still do that job because I need that money to live. And every day I'm working towards the end goal, which is to be successful doing something that I love and not have to worry about money, not have to worry about this and that. And every day I'm working toward it and working hard at it. And the thing about it is, every time I go to rest or every time I go to take a break, I just think to myself, what am I not doing? What am I not getting done? Every time you rest, every time you don't do something, something's not getting done. You're not doing something to get to that goal that you want. Everybody has different goals. Everybody has different ways of being successful, or different definitions of what successful is. And that's completely fine. And I think everybody should go for their goal, and everybody should do what makes them happy. There is nobody on this earth that is holding you back from doing what you want to do. The only person doing that is you. So with that being said, set a goal, work hard, and accomplish that goal. I know this video is a little different than most, but I thought I'd give sort of like a little motivational speech, as well as address the questions that I get asked on a daily basis. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys took a lot from this video. Stay tuned, I'm gonna be doing a lot of videos on this truck. I'm really excited to start modding this truck a little bit for you guys, and as well as the 2013 ZL1, which is almost done. It should be done getting the nitrous installed, and also doing some things with my 2017 this year. So thank you guys again. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Please share it. Also follow all of my social media, which will be in the description of the video. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button, and have a great day.